Time now for the shocking stat of the week, although I have to admit you probably won't be shocked. But here's the question. How big an increase in your income would you need to stay even with the rise in the cost of living since, say, the beginning of the pandemic? Answer. Well, if your income hasn't grown by over 17%, you're actually poorer than you were in January 2020, according to StatsCan. And keep in mind, StatsCan's Consumer Price Index measures over 700 goods and services. And of course, you don't buy even a fraction of that, which is why I continue to focus on the increase in the cost of food and shelter and gasoline, because all of us buy them in some form. So, how much would your income have to have risen just to stay even with the rise in those essentials since January 2020? Well, the answer, your income would have had to increase 23% on average. Of course, that varies by individual depending on how much gas you buy or how much food you eat and where you live. But it's a good indicator that anyone who hasn't seen a 23% increase in income since Jan 2020 is actually poorer. You know what shocks me, though, is how oblivious so many elitist Canadians, including our politicians, are to the financial distress felt by over half of our population, including 2 million who visit food banks monthly, or the 53% of Canadians that the recent RBC survey found were feeling financially paralyzed, or 48% feel there is no way to get ahead financially while they spend their entire paycheck on necessities. And not only is that the plight of those people rarely mentioned, if ever by government, I think they actually go out of their way to ignore their situation. For example, in January, Prime Minister Trudeau was on CNN saying how great our economy was doing, a fiction he repeated to Stephen Colbert back in September. And the Liberal Party is still doing that. But then again, I'm not sure. Maybe the problem is that all of our elites and our politicians are doing just fine.